Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube. I am coming to you on this Friday, April 8th, 2022 with an update video. Hi, I know you haven't seen my face around for some time, and so we'll get into that. But before I do, I just want to say welcome to everybody who is new. I hope that you find something you like. On this channel I talk mostly about cross stitch, but sometimes I'll talk about books and knitting. Today we're just doing cross stitch because it's been a long time. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I know that I just don't film on a regular basis, but we might see some changes on that front on the horizon. So I haven't filmed for a couple of months and it's just been a struggle. I tried to film a few times, and the third and final straw was I filmed a whole floss tube and none of the sound took. And so I took that as a sign, like, just maybe you need to take a step back, sit down and come back to FlossTube in a little while. Just take a break. And so I took that sign and I ran with it, and I decided to walk away for a little while. But yeah, it's just been a struggle between Baby does stuff waking up too early from her nap and me realizing that I never hit the record. I mean, just things and stuff. And I just decided I needed a break, and it was good. A break is good. I was able to focus on stitching and spending time with my family. And yeah, it was really, really good, really important. And now I am back, and I am here on Friday afternoon. Dana usually gets home from work around noon on Fridays, and I think that may give me an opportunity to be able to film on Fridays. I'm not going to set anything in stone here, but ideally, I'd like to film every week, every Friday. When I go too long, there's too much to cover. It's a big ordeal. It's a big production between gathering everything and organizing everything and trying to make sure I remember all of the things that I want to tell you about. It's just a lot. And if I could film more frequently, then the amount of stuff that I have to show you is reduced, and therefore I could probably do it in a quick time and it not be this big thing. So we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try to film on a weekly basis again. It's been a couple of years since I was able to do that, but we're gonna give it a try. So it's not gonna be very long videos, but maybe more consistent videos will make up for the lack of movies. I hope that's okay with you all. So I think I've worked on 20 some odd projects, unique projects, since I last filmed. And I'm not up for a quarter whip parade. I'm just not in the mood. I don't have the kind of time. My hair is as light as it will get because I have a hair appointment in about 2 hours to go have it touched up and darkened back. So I don't have a huge window of time here. So I am not going to show you everything that I have worked on in the last 2 months since my last video. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to show you the projects that I have finished this year, all of which happened within the last couple of weeks. And then I'm going to show you what I worked on for the last week. Those other projects in the 7 or 8 weeks that were missing there, I'll get to them when I work on them again, or when I do a whip parade again, whenever that happens. I'll show them later. If you want to see absolutely everything that I have worked on in the last 2 months, then I suggest you check out my Instagram. Instagram is the place because I post regularly over there. So if you want to see that, then head over to Instagram. It's going to be a little bit redundant with what I show you here today on the video, but nonetheless, that's an option for you to head on over to Instagram. So just the finishes and what I've worked on in the last week. And I've worked on a few things in the last week. And then we're going to talk some plans, and then I'm going to show you some haul. It's not a lot. It does include my market purchases, and a couple of project packs because I'm still on that. So yeah, let's jump right in. Before we do, I am not addressing any Q&A this video, but this is a good opportunity. If you have any questions for me, ask them in the comments below. I'm going to start trying to do that regularly as well. I've got grand plans. So let's hope they all come to fruition. But if you have any questions for me, ask them in the comments below and I will answer them next time. Okay, now we're ready to start talking about some projects, and we're going to start with the finishes. So the first project I have to show you was a whip go call for March. It was a whip go call for March. And my main whip go board is compiled of 24 projects that, given a decent amount of time, a week to 2 weeks, depending, I could finish them. And this one I wasn't like necessarily in the mood for, but when I started working on it, I was like, this is really good. And this is really comfort stitching, and it's going quickly. And so with 6 days effort, I think I finished it. So enough preamble. This is It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere by Jan Hicks Creates. And here it is all finished. Isn't that cool looking? I love the aesthetic of this design. It's just very cool. So this is stitched on a 28 count linen in 1776 by Color and Cotton. It was in a 4th of July mystery box from a few years ago. And it's a 28 count linen. My stitches are huge. I think I was working on this shortly after working on a full coverage. So I went from 1/1 on 25 count to 2/2 on 28 count. These stitches are massive by comparison. But it stitches up so fast because it's mostly negative space, right? It's mostly negative. It is charted in DMC, but I use none of the called for colors. For the black, I used Anchor Black, as I do. And then for the 3 colors, the gold, the blue, and the gray, I chose some Color and Cotton from Stash because they're used so sparingly that I thought I could use some Color and Cotton. So if you're curious, the gold is Bumblebee. The gray is London Fog, which I think is a drink, is it not? So fitting. And then the blue, this gorgeous blue, is Peruvian Butterfly. So a gorgeous, soft, light blue. So those were the colors that I used for this one. And I got it finished. Was I planning for this to be my very first finish of 2022? No. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Lots of fun to stitch. Also, Pattern Keeper compatible. So head on over to Jan Hicks. I think she's on Etsy now. I will link her website and her Etsy if you are interested in stitching this up. Super fast, super fun. I have dreams of a bar, and this will live there eventually when said dreams come to fruition. Okay, so that was finish number 1. Finish number 2 is what I was expecting to be my first finish of the year. But things and stuff held it over much longer than I expected. So it was my oldest whip. And I finished this just a week ago. So this is a fairly recent finish. And I keep looking at it because I'm really pleased with it. This is August Quilt by Paula Vaughan. It's from her book, The Quilts for All Seasons, which is an out-of-print book, but I think you can find some on the secondhand market on eBay and Abe Books. Yeah, so just keep your eyes peeled. And here she is. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. So real quickly, 32 count Belfast linen in cream from Zweigart. Stitch 2 over 2 using all of the called for colors with some happy accidents, shall we say. You're not going to be able to tell. It's not a big deal, but one of the greens in the ground, I used the wrong one on this side. And there's a couple of quarter stitches that were supposed to go this way and I accidentally put them on this way. Also, whatever. But other than that, all done. And just as charted. I loved this. I loved this. I've said this so many times over the years. Based on what I know of myself, this should not be my aesthetic. This shouldn't be my thing. I shouldn't be into this. This is very pastoral. It's very old-timey. It's vintage. That's just not my aesthetic. But I loved stitching this. I so loved stitching this. I even loved the huge swaths of white. I loved every bit of this. I was doing a lot of complaining about how long the back stitch took with some friends, and I loved the back stitch, even though I was complaining. You know when you get to that last 10% of a project and you're like, I'm going to finish this today, and today becomes maybe tomorrow, maybe a couple more days. That's how I felt. I thought, I'm going to finish this in no time. You know, backstitch, it takes some time, but whatever, I'm going to get it done quick. No. 8 days of backstitch. 8 days. But nonetheless, I am so excited about it. I'm so thrilled with the finish. And I cannot wait to put my FFO plan into action. It's going to be a long time before I get this done, but I cannot wait to show you all my plans for fully finishing this one. I think this took me a total of 47 stitching days over the course of nearly 7 years. It's a little intense, but nonetheless, so much fun. So much fun. There are memories in this project. This was the last project that I stitched on before Baby Does Stuff was born. And it was the first project that I stitched on after she was born. I stitched on this on multiple Zoom calls with stitchy friends over the years, and I even got to stitch on it in person with stitchy friends this past weekend. Yeah, there's memories here. Lots of memories. And I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. So I'm going to insert some close-ups of some of the details because my camera just won't focus on things. But some close-ups of the back stitch. I even did the French knots, and one of my French knots turned out so beautiful that I'm going to post it up here because I'm just so proud of it. So yeah. So that is finish number 2. So that kind of carries us into whips, and so I'm going to kind of walk you through the last week. Last Saturday the 2nd of April, I had just a really good day. The DC area Metro Stitchers had a meetup, and I was able to go, and I was geeked. I was a little timid, a little nervous about going because in the last 2 years, I haven't been around people. And just, so this was a social interaction. I was a little nervous, but these are people that I have hung out with and stitched with previously, and you know, it's all good people, and so I was more excited than nervous. So when we moved to Fredericksburg, we're closer to 95, which means that in my head, I had shaved off 30 minutes of drive time. I did not take into account the fact that 95 is a parking lot on most Saturday afternoons, especially when the weather is nice. So I was really late, but nonetheless, got to stitch with those ladies for a good few hours and just be with people. Oh, it was so good. So I actually turned it into a bit of a mommy getaway. Danny has gone to, he went to a board gaming retreat, and he did a couple of weekends down in Blacksburg, and I thought, it's my turn. And I would like just a night to do me. So I actually ended up getting a hotel up north and in Nova, and spending the night and just chilling out, vegging out, just focused on me time. And it was a little bit more stressful than it should have been. Just a real quick story here. While we were at the meetup, we were talking a lot about scam calls and your car warranty is up phone calls, etc., etc. And I got a phone call while I was there that I thought for sure was a scam call, and they were telling me that my hotel reservation was canceled. And they didn't use any particular information in the phone call. They didn't use any names or anything like that. And my reservation on the app said that everything was fine and copacetic, and I had no emails and nothing beyond this phone call. So I thought everything was good to go. On top of that, this phone call came hours after check-in. So like it just didn't make any sense. So I go to my hotel, and sure enough, my reservation was canceled out from underneath me. They were overbooked and they bumped me. And I don't go anywhere. I don't drive anymore, and I'm in Northern Virginia, which is its own animal. And I was beside myself. I was stressed out. But Danny figured out, found me an alternate hotel. And it was actually a better location for me. And it was totally okay. It ended up totally okay. I got into my hotel a few hours later than I had planned, but it was perfectly fine. And the Embassy Suites in Springfield, Virginia is pretty fantastic. If you end up on the second floor, heads up, that's the pool floor. Ask me how I know that. But it was great. It was a nice getaway, just some me time. And so I stitched and I finished August quilt while I was there, and I relaxed and I ordered DoorDash, and it was nice. It was nice. And then I really missed my family, so I was really excited to get home the next day. Okay, so all of that aside, my stitchy weekend. So on Saturday, while I was at the meetup, we thought that we were supposed to be out at 5, but we stuck around until 6 until the library closed. And so after I had put August quilt away, I pulled out this project. And I think it's going to move project bags, but it's currently living in this project bag, which is actually a recent acquisition. And this is from Black Cat X Stitchery on Etsy, and I will link her down below. Really fabulous project bags. I was just on Etsy, and because of my project bag buying lately, I think Etsy is starting to promote project bag makers to me. And so these were up, and I went, okay, I'll try them, check them out. And this is beautiful. Really, really nice. So it's a bit of a spoiler, but inside here is a project that I started This is actually my most recent start from the end of February. But nonetheless, this is something I'm actually really kind of excited about because I'm stitching in hand. So I told you all that I bought this 16 count Aida to try to teach myself how to stitch in hand. And on February 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine. And I have had a lot of emotions and feelings since the invasion and with regards to the ongoing war that Vladimir Putin is raging on Ukraine. And so to channel some of that energy, I had a new start on a project that is by a Ukrainian designer. And since I was trying to teach myself how to stitch in hand, I decided to go with something small. And I also needed this for a challenge. I think I needed something with candy. And so this just fit the bill for me. Super cute, super little, but just a learning project, if you will. And so this is by NonStopStitch on Etsy. And she is a Ukrainian designer. And she has lots of really adorable things. So this is Penguin. And this is Pattern Keeper compatible. The back stitch isn't, of course, but the cross stitch section is Pattern Keeper compatible, which is fantastic. I love that. And so I have gotten a start. Let me pull my needle so that I can move some of these threads out of the way. So here's where I'm up to. And forgive the threads over here. That's just from starting new threads. I'm really kind of enjoying this. Do I think that stitching in hand is going to revolutionize stitching for me and make me throw away all my Q-snaps and my Millennium frames and all that? No, absolutely not. But this is great. This is great TV stitching. This is great. I just put my project away, but I still want to keep stitching at my Stitchy Meetup stitching. This is great. If I feel like stitching, but Baby Does Stuff is hanging out, if I want to stitch, this is a great one to pull out because if I need to set it down real fast, no problem. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So I have learned a lot in this period of time. I am left-handed, but I am slightly ambidextrous. And so when I'm stitching two-handed, I actually stitch like a right-handed person. My right hand is underneath and my left hand is on top. And so in watching specifically Sarah Stitchin' Mommy videos, I kind of follow her method a little bit. It's very much stab and pull for me. Sewing method is not working, which is okay. That's all right. And so I hold the fabric with my left hand and I stitch with my right. Now, one thing that I learned is that I think that I need to, instead of rolling my fabric from the bottom, I need to roll it from the side because I find myself tensioning like this. And if I'm going to stitch something over here, I'm going to be struggling. I'm going to be struggling trying to hold that. And I don't tension very well holding from underneath. Now my roll maybe needs to be a little tighter for me to try that. So I might give it a try. But it just felt too awkward holding it like this and trying to stitch. So I am having an easier time if I tension off to the side. So I may roll from the side. What else have I learned? I don't know how y'all park and stitch in hand at the same time. I really don't know how you do that. These threads here are driving me bananas. I have them parked there because I don't like cutting a thread and then adding it in 5 stitches later. So I am parking, but I'm not enjoying it. They get in my way. I don't really know where to put them. When I'm stitching two-handed, I've got needle minders and such, so I can hold stuff over here and over there. But not like this. They're in my way. So I can totally see how cross country is the way to go. when stitching in hand. I love the ability to just roll down, you know, a project like this in my Millennium frame, it would all just fit in one little space. That's not a problem. But my bigger projects, I've got to, there's a process for rolling down. And with this, I just go. So like I said, I don't think that this is going to take over my frame stitching, my two-handed stitching, but this is great for the purpose it is serving. It will give me some freedom. I won't be so tied down to my chair, and I may be able to do some more stitching at retreats because I won't need all of my stuff. So yeah, so that is my penguin. I did work on that on Saturday. I don't think I've worked on it since, but I throw in a few stitches here and there when the mood strikes. On Sunday, on my drive back, I got up in the morning and I had a bad headache. I don't think I ever hit migraine, but I had a bad headache that lasted for way too long. I just didn't do what I needed to take care of this headache, and so it lasted forever. So I didn't end up stitching on Sunday. And then I wasn't feeling it, and so I didn't end up stitching on Monday either. Be it I couldn't decide what to work on next or finish Hangover because I had just finished August Quilt. Who knows? But I wasn't in the mood for stitching. So finally, I spun the wheel. I have all of the projects that I'm trying to work on here in April in a wheel. And I actually have two wheels, and I'll explain that here in a minute. And it pulled this project, and I was like, I don't really want to work on that, but now is the time to work on it. So, okay. So that project in question is Farmhouse Christmas by Little House Needleworks. I had this project slated for this month because its birthday was yesterday. And as I've told you, I kind of like to work on projects as and when I can on their WIP birthdays. And this one was yesterday. So I pulled this project to work on Tuesday and worked on it for a few days and got a block finished yesterday. Oh, excuse my parked threads here. There we go. So I have blocks 1, 2, and 4 done, not on this piece of fabric. And then earlier this year I finished block 3, and then just recently I worked on and finished block 5, the center of the series. And that pretty little quilt with a very similar color palette to August Quilt. I cracked up at that. Red, neutrals, greens. Yep. My Rose of Sharon quilt is a lot like that too. But hey, that's okay. So I worked on this for 3 days. I had the border previously done. So everything from the green inside is what I've stitched over the last few days. And got the block finished, which was really cool. I need to be doing about a half a block a month in order to see this series finished in time for Christmas. And that got me caught up. So pretty cool. Essentially I need to finish a block every even month. So yeah, so that one's done. And I thought about continuing on, but here's the thing. One of the threads in here, Pebble Beach, Classic Colorworks Pebble Beach. My skein is not variegated, which is annoying, and it shreds so fast that I wonder if there's a burr in the eye of my needle every time I stitch on this project, because Pebble Beach falls apart. It's the only thread that does that though, so it's the thread, it's not my needle. And there's a lot of Pebble Beach in this block in particular, and it burns me out on this series. So I finished the block yesterday. I was so excited to get it finished yesterday, and decided I'm ready to walk away. So that's what I did. I didn't post this on Instagram, so it's kind of fun to show you something here that isn't up on Instagram yet. This may be up on Instagram before this video goes live, but anyway. So that's pretty cool, getting that block done. And so I have the borders started for blocks 7 and 9. The even blocks, I'm not doing the borders. I'm just doing the borders for the odd blocks. So this will come back out here eventually. Hopefully in May. I could maybe try to get the top half block done. We'll see. 5 blocks down. Very exciting. As I mentioned, I have 2 wheels that I am working from this month. The first is the projects that I need to get to. The second is a list of projects that I think I could finish with a few days. It is the month of indulgences. My birthday is at the end of the month, and so I call this the month of indulgences, where I try to let myself do whatever I want. Inevitably, I end up with decision fatigue and I can't decide. And so I need the structure of challenges and whip go and things like that to keep me motivated and choosing things. But one of the things that I consider indulgent right now is finishes. I want some finishes. I don't want new starts. I want finishes. And so I contemplated, after finishing Farmhouse Christmas yesterday, or the block, excuse me, I contemplated spinning my finish that wheel, and ultimately I decided to try to get my goals done first, and then I'll spend the rest of the month, the end of the month, whatever time I have left, working on the indulgent things. The thing is that I'm really excited about the things that I need to work on, so I'm good with it no matter what. So I spun the wheel for what I am to work on today, and it pulled Bluebeard's Princess Mirabella. So this is a design that I broke up into 12 parts. Me and a bunch of friends are kind of doing that. We've all picked our own project, but we broke it up into 12 parts, and we are committed to working on it once a month to try to get that goal accomplished. And so it came up for me today. So I set this project up on my frame this morning, and I stitched on it, and Baby Does Stuff slept until 9, and I got my section finished. Now my section this month was really small. It was really small. It was the last of my really small ones. So yeah, so here is where I'm up to, and then I will talk more. So I've worked on this 3 times since I last filmed. My February section was the bottom of the crown, and then March was basically all of this seaweed stuff above her hair, and then my April section was about down to there. And my sections are 20 stitches by the width. It's actually 19 stitches by the width, but it's just easier to chunk up my pattern in 20 stitch blocks. So 20 stitches by the width, stitching in all of the threads, DMC, Karen Water Lilies, metallics, backstitch, and beads, all of it. So that's why these first few were very quick, because all I had to do was specialty stuff. And so this one was just face back stitch. This comb needed to be beaded, and there was a few stitches missing in the top of the conch shell there. Real quickly, this is a 32 count Belfast linen in Hicks from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm using all of the called for DMC. I am using the called for Mill Hill beads. I am using the called for Karen Water Lilies. I'm using some of the called for metallics, but I've swapped out a few of them. The skin I stitched over one. The border I have replaced with a single herringbone using a very pale purple dinky dyes, which you can't tell, which is fine. I just didn't care for the border as it was charted, so I decided to do my own thing. And I think that that's all of the changes that I made. So yeah, so my section this morning was really quick, about an hour and a half. 91 stitches converted. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. The face is backstitched with 2 strands, which is what's called for. And I think I may change that. Based on some conversations I've had with friends, I think that maybe her face needs to be 1 strand. Her eyelashes are okay to be in 2 strands. That's okay to be a little thicker. But I think it's a little too bulky against the 1/1 skin. It just looks a little too heavy against the 1/1 skin. So I think I may rip that out and redo it. Hence the reason it's still on my frame. So there is that. That is my Bluebeard's Princess Mirabella. I knew that that section was going to be really short, and so I kind of wanted to save it for the 30th of April so that I could get up on the 1st of May and work on my May section, because my May section is going to have some stitching. And more important than that, it's going to have some skin stitching. So from here on out, my sections are going to take a little bit longer to get accomplished, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with working on a project for a few days instead of 2 hours. Yeah, it feels silly to pull out a project for just 2 hours, but there we have it. So let's move into plans a little bit. So I think I'm going to stitch this evening. I've got my hair appointment here in a couple hours. But then I think I may stitch this evening if we don't decide to binge watch The Ultimatum on Netflix, but to be determined. So if I stitch this evening, I spun my Need to Stitch wheel and it pulled one of my Whipco projects, which is Snow Castle by Randall Spangler. And this is a Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is from my full coverage Whipco board. So this is a project that falls into that 7-week window between videos here that I'm technically not showing. I'm just not going to talk through. I'm just going to show you my starting point here. I am getting ready to start on page 5. And I'm not going to bring this much closer because this camera, this light, the coverage looks terrible if I bring it any closer. But I am getting ready to start page 5. And my Whipco goal on my full coverage board is a half page. So I need to get half of page 5 done before I switch, which I think I can do in a few days. It works out to like 3,400 stitches, I think. Less than that. No, more than that. 3,500 stitches. That might take me a week. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. How's that? I'm really excited to get into this page though, because I'm going to start that top turret of the castle. Let me bring this back. I'm going to get into that top turret. I'm so excited to finally get into the title of the thing. The castle. So, very excited. 25 count, easy grid Lugana, 1/1 full cross with the called for DMC, anchor black instead of DMC 310, as I do. So, that's what I'm going to be working on for at least the next few days. I did not bring everything that I have on my need to stitch list or May finish list. I guess y'all will see those things as and when I work on them. If I can get this filming every week thing done, I think that'll just be a lot more fun. So immediate plan is Snow Castle. And after that, we'll see. Come back next week. We'll keep it a teaser. How about that? However, there is one sort of farther out plan that I want to talk to you about. It's my birthday month. My birthday is on Monday, April 25th, 2022. And I am turning 34. And I think I'm going to have a new start. I thought I was going to have several new starts, and then I was like, no, I don't really feel like having new starts. So I think I'm going to have a new start. I don't know what it is yet. So maybe y'all can help me decide. So let me go through them, the options. The first one is something that has been calling me, This is Gaia by Bella Filipina. I am all about Bella Filipina right now. I am loving Dren's designs. They are, every single one that comes out is stunning. I saw, oh, what's her name? The new one released today. It's a witch. It's beautiful. Something Golden Broom. I'll insert a picture. But anyway, I am loving Bella Filipina right now, and I don't have one on the go. So I think I would like to start the one that I have in my stash here, Gaia, the Earth Goddess. I don't have fabric picked, but nonetheless. So that's an option. Super departure here. This I was supposed to start for Emily C's birthday and just never got around to it. This is Jane Walker, circa 1800 by the Scarlet Letter. I could start this now, or I could save it for September. I have so many things that I would like to start in Sampler September, so we'll see. So it might be fun to start it now. I am so excited about this. I just can't even tell you I am so excited about this. And I'm using the DMCs for this one. I haven't pulled fabric, but I have a ton of 40 count linen, which I think is what I would like to do for this one. So we'll see. We'll see. And then the last one is going to lead us into haul. The last option is this beauty from Leela's Studio. I call this the design that broke the seal for me. I wasn't going to buy anything from Market. And then the floodgates opened when I decided to get this one. I love this. I love this so much. And I hear rumor that this is the first in a series, that there will be more for the whole year of season. I love this. I love this a lot. And with my birthday being in April, it's kind of winter into spring. At least, I mean, growing up in Michigan, it's winter into spring in April. Easter usually falls in April. Yep. This, you hear how excited I am about this? I have a feeling that y'all are going to pick this one. But actually, all of these are kind of spring-like, aren't they? I must be in a mood. So, y'all pick Gaia, Jane, or spring. Tell me which one you think I should start. Y'all vote. Help me out. So, that is kind of percolating. Y'all may vote and I may not end up starting anything. Like I said, I'm in the mood for finishes, so we'll see. We'll see what I end up actually doing for my birthday. The other thing is that the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon is that weekend before my birthday. It's that weekend. So it might be fun to have my birthday start and work on it for 24 hours. Or 34. Listen to me. I have a 15-month-old. There's no way that I'm going to be able to stitch for that many hours. But anyway, so let's get into the rest of the haul, of the recent acquisitions. And so we have another project bag. Notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This is also by Black Cat X Stitchery, and I love this a whole lot. I was really hoping that When There Are 9 would be in here, but it's not. That's okay. I Dissent is in here. And the collars. Love it. Love it a lot. And I really like her bags, like I said. I picked up another Susan bag. This is Vintage Owl Lady. And I love how quirky this is and how pretty it is. So, so cool. Very cool. And on the inside are a bunch of bee skeps. This is beautiful. There's that. And then March Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month. This is Rain Washed. It's darker than recent fabrics have been. My subscription is bi-monthly, and it's a fat quarter of 40 count Newcastle linen. Very pretty. A little too dark for, I think, either of those two, either Spring Quaker or Jane, but nonetheless, they're beautiful. I was enabled. And when I show these, you're going to know who you are if you watch my channel. So we have Royal Holiday and Summer Queen and Winter Queen. These are the ones that are still in print. They're still in print. Spring and Autumn are both out of print. And I can't say for certain how long these will remain in print because Mirabilia seems to be dropping some popular ones at an alarming rate. So yeah, I picked up Seasonal Queens. I can't believe I haven't collected these previously, but nonetheless. So there is that. Okay, let's do some more market stuff. I wasn't going to buy this, and then Emily C showed it, and so I bought it. Sometimes I feel like after watching FlossTube and then filming my own FlossTube, I sound like that girl from Mean Girls. Camel pants and flip-flops. Anyway, Hands to Work Sir Dandy. This is cool. This is really cool. I almost put this in my consideration to start for my birthday. Cause it's just cool. That patchwork bird. Very cool. Okay. Pink Cottage School from Hello from Liz Matthews. It's these guys that did it for me. Those two. And the birds. And the border. All of it. I love it all. Very pretty. Very pretty. A great fabric for that. I maybe need to just kit that up. This is not a market release, but Trisha at 3 Owl Threads had it, and so I scooped it up, and Sarah from Our Stitching Kingdom has enabled me with this one. This is Well Rounded by Hands On Design, and I got the finishing kit, which is really what sold me on picking this up. A seasonal set. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I really like the aesthetic of these. These are cool. And I love Kathy Haberman. Also not market, the latest in A Year in the Woods. This is the Ferret, and OMG, is he adorable. I'm going to name him Bandit. And if my brother is watching, then he knows why this one's name is Bandit. We had ferrets as kids, and that's a whole story I can tell you all about later. Oh look, something else I was enabled to buy. This from Mama Loves You GB Michelle. Jelly Bean Jubilee by Brenda Gervais. I had grand delusions that I might have some Easter smalls ready for next week. Not gonna happen. But nonetheless, very excited about that. Those are really cute. I love the blue used there. That's pretty. You don't sleep on a Blackbird book, so I picked up a Heart Remembers. It's a rule. You don't sleep on a Blackbird book because if they go out of print, they get very expensive very fast. So when they release them, scoop it up. I love everything in here. I really like that one. Beautiful. I'm not going to flip through that because I'm late on the market share, so it's all good. Humming of the Bees. Giant Brick House, anybody? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Of course, Lady Man. 1844, excuse me, Lady Man by Bendy Stitchy. Purples. And I'm quite the lady man. That's so cool. A whole bunch of people started that as a sal, and a lot of people are finished with it. Super quick stitch, I think. And last but not least, from my market haul, Let Love Rain. Because the giant Teresa Kogut sampler every year gets me. So, yeah, picked that up. And it also comes with this one, which I did not know. And the heart too. Very cool. This is a great little book. So that is it for Market. I didn't do any Market pre-orders. I did aftermarket purchasing. Because like I said, I was going to try not to buy anything from Market, and then I did. So anyway, so that is it for the Market haul. Coming up next is a series of pictures of designs from Ukrainian designers that I have purchased over the last couple of months, trying to put some money into the hands of some Ukrainian stitchers and Ukrainian designers, as and when I can, to try to help out. I know that prices for goods and medicines and food and just everyday living expenses are probably starting to skyrocket. And so I am doing everything I can to put some money into the hands of some Ukrainian stitchers. A couple of things about Etsy that I wanted to talk about. They are price hiking their fees to sellers on Etsy. And so I would encourage you to try to support some Ukrainian designers, but to maybe put a pause on that. I believe April 11th through 18th, we're doing kind of a massive Etsy boycott to try to encourage them to not impose these additional fees. It's hurting the sellers, and Etsy is a really great platform for small designers and for up-and-comers, and not just cross stitch, of course, but I mean across. I mean, I used to feel like if you needed to buy something, you should go check Amazon, and lately I have said, well, maybe we should check Etsy and see if we can find it there. And it's absurd, the costs that are being imposed on sellers on Etsy. So I would encourage you to take a break from supporting them for about a week, at least. Let's see. Something that I learned from Carolyn from Seazook Stitch this week is that if you make a purchase of $20 or more from an Etsy seller, specifically with downloadable things, to download them as fast as you can, because if it's more than $20, if your total is more than $20 from a particular shop, that money doesn't get into the hands of the seller until you download it. Smaller than $20, they'll send it right through, but apparently they hold on to that, and that's some shady stuff. But I didn't know that, so just, be aware of that. If you're making some considerable purchases from Etsy, to download your stuff right away, put it in Drive or Dropbox or whatever, so that we can get the money where it needs to go. So yeah, that's my short little PSA on Etsy. I have one last purchase that I made. It's not stitching related at all, but I am just so stinking excited about it that I want to share it with everybody. Hand to Earth Ceramics, Deanna. I have followed her stuff for several years, and I have tried in vain to catch her updates. In vain. I cannot catch her updates. It's like Clay by Kim Needleminders. I am not fast enough. And I finally caught an update, and I got this beautiful little bowl that I just wanted to share with you. This is some people's aesthetic. I was sure to share this with Michelle Cozy Egg because it's got her name all over it. It is a beautiful hand-thrown. She uses a wheel to make this pottery. Ceramic. Apparently her glaze now is food grade, so you can eat out of. I'm not going to, but you can supposedly eat out of these. And hand painted and everything. She has a kiln. Her stuff is beautiful. I love everything that she does, and my whole kitchen would be covered in Deanna stuff if I could A, afford it, and B, catch an update. But nonetheless, so I just thought that I would share that, and she's written her information there on the bottom. Beautiful. I have some crystals that are going to live in here, and I love this a lot. So just thought that I would share that because I geeked out about it. It came on a day that I really needed it, and it was very exciting. So just thought I'd share that. Okay, I'm gonna head off here. This is turning out to be a lot longer than I expected it to, but nonetheless, we are headed off, and so I'm going to go spend some time with my family before Baby Does Stuff goes down for a nap. I'm gonna go get my hair done and see what this week brings me. So I'm gonna head off. Everybody, happy stitching. As always, be kind, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you next time. Bye.